Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, and welcome to the last CoH2 closed beta cast. Yes, indeed, the closed beta will be shutting today, going down, and no more. And there will be no more CoH2 until the open beta begins, hopefully later on in May. If we're lucky, if we're less lucky, it'll be in June. So let's all pray for May. But we shall be having a bit of an exciting 2 vs 2 right here on Oka River. Map and actually not wanting to show off, but constantly either patched, rather ruined a good replay otherwise on the map. But this one should be good. We shall be watching Wanderer and Shadowwada fighting for the 11th Panzer Division. Going up against them shall be Romeo and Julet, fighting for the Soviet Union, taking on the fight for the 4th Guards Tank Corps. So it should be an overall exciting fight right here. Some interesting things going on, and we are also noting right here that Romeo is rushing ahead with his combat engineers within the first few minutes. 2 Pioneer squads out for Shadowwada, and not quite so for Wanderer, who starts out with an MG42 second. Grenadiers now popping up for Shadowwada, and there we go. We actually see the combat engineers have taken up position within the house, immediately open up on the fascist advancing Pioneers, or the Pioneers quickly take up position behind this tree for some lighter cover. Although overall they will not have much of a chance right here against the combat engineers inside the house, and their initial task will more likely be to just basically stay beyond range and basically just harass. Instead, Shadowwada seems to order his Pioneers to go straight for the house. Submachine guns are pretty rubbish against troops inside buildings. So in this case, the Pioneers will definitely be ending up losing. Several go down, and the Pioneers are finally ordered back. In the meantime, we are seeing a pretty aggressive rush going in from Wanderer towards the fuel point. In fact, both sides seem quite interested in the fuel, at least the Germans are. Russians seem so far less phased or eager to get it. 2 Grenadier squads out for Shadowwada. Wanderer getting Grenadiers. Second Grenadier squad coming out there. And we're already seeing Shadowwada taking up. That's not necessarily that good. He will be having a rather light infantry force at the moment, but we'll of course see how that one works out. Slight apologies for the cold, and we're also noting a bit of barbed wire going up here to make it harder for the Bolsheviks to move about. MG42 taking up position in the church. We are noting a very slow advance from Julet, who actually only went for a combat engineer squad and then immediately went and got a penal battalion squad. Quite interesting, they are equipped with the SVT-40 for some reason. And they also have access to satchel charges and other explosive goodies, including a flamethrower. And we also see a scout car coming out right there. Soviets holding up that area. Germans going much harder though for the strategic points up there. First real proper engagement of concept coming on from Pioneers and a Grenadier squad, although we do see more conscripts moving in from Romeo. We are seeing a second Grenadier squad moving up. At this stage, we could also perhaps consider for Shadowwada to try to upgrade his Grenadiers with an MG or his Pioneers with a flamethrower. Either of those would work out quite nicely. But looks like the Pioneers will go down. They need to retreat out of there. Ah, Shadowwada, you klutz. And that was a Pioneer squad rather painfully lost by Shadowwada. Conscript squad on the way, and so far the Romeo has only in fact lost a single conscript, whereas Shadowwada has lost numerous Pioneers so far, so rather looking bright for the Russians. Scout car popping down with what looks to be another penal trooper squad, the Strafbat or Strafniki, while the other squad pushes out against some Grenadiers down there. Grenadiers getting pushed away from the right hand side, taking losses to the large force of conscripts. Grenadiers here not doing so well against the SVT-40s, which were a Soviet semi-automatic rifle, although basically it actually started out as a fully automatic rifle known as the ABT-36. Problem was the recoil was too powerful and it actually ruined the rifle. And this is really not looking poorly, although we do now see a half-track coming out for Shadowwada. Might be he's actually going for a Flammwagen. Grenadiers are doing alright, but they're still outnumbered. Again, an MG would have been nice, but apparently against Shadowwada it's going for the Flammenwerfer, the Flammwagen.
We are losing a sector.
Which definitely seems to be the case. A bit wasteful since he rather lost a Pioneer squad. Again, he probably could have benefited from a bit more early on, but there you go. Panzer squad going on there. 10th Panzer is a note right here what actually is going on. Julet is actually ruining the fire pits or the fireplaces or whatever, campfires. Basically ensuring the Germans have nowhere to warm themselves. It's actually a bit, I wouldn't call it scorched earth, but I suppose scorched snow tactic. Basically ensuring that the Germans have nowhere to actually warm themselves by without having to spend manpower on it. So that's actually the first time I've ever seen that tactic being employed so far in CoH2, but I find it actually incredibly fascinating, and again it's actually pretty clever when you think about it, but again you rarely see it. And the question is, will Romeo actually be employing something similar against the fire pits around here of the German player known as Shadowwada? But no, but there we go, Flammwagen prepared, Pioneers, Grenadiers, and now Panzer Grenadier moving out in the name of the fatherland. And the flamethrower company needs rather realize it's got the bigger flamethrowers. Not looking good. And the question is, will Romeo be prepared for this? Or will Julet find her lover a scorched piece of toast? Meanwhile, we are seeing a scout car putting pretty heavily right there from Wanda. Needs to be careful though. Force it. Those SVTs can still do a lot of damage. MG42 decrewed, by the way. Not good. Romeo providing a bit of support infantry. But the Strafbad being pushed to its toughest right there by Julet. Panzer Grenadiers pushing up hard for the west, right, more Grenadiers, Pioneers, Flammwagen holding up so far. Alright, we're seeing a full retreat right there. Also, we're seeing a Tank V battalion command going up for Romeo, so that could actually prove to be a bit disadvantageous. Also, half-track out here to help keep the infantry up. But a Soviet MG42 is definitely going to be a problem for the Germans, unless, of course, they get a Flammwagen, which is also considerably possible, since again it also looks like Wanderer is saving up munitions for a Flammwagen. Sniper out here spotted, Grenadiers opening up, half-track moving in, MG42 firing when it looks like some poor girl went dead, face into the snow. But interesting to see. I mean, that's actually one tactic you might see some Russian players go, actually just basically building the Special Rifle Command and then going for the Penal Battalion instead initially. They're basically sort of same health and strength as the conscripts, but they have better weapons and they've got satchel charges, which if you know how to use them and use them against an unwary German player can actually do a lot of damage. Should not be underestimated. But right there, conscripts taking heavy fire from the armored car auto cannon stretch. Vasily and Fedorov. Conscripts quickly making a rush into the house. MG42 firing away there. And there we go, Flammwagen. Romeo once more finding his troops being turned into borscht. And there we go, we rather see Julet realizing this is a bad time and get the bloody hell out of there. More snipers out for Julet. Germans making a solid advance on the right side. A medic bunker might be an idea for the Germans. Fuel caches going down rather aggressively from Shadowwada. We are seeing assault support and we're seeing an awful lot of manpower being floated. I would recommend something more going up, but again, there's also a current problem again, which is the Germans don't have anything to warm them by. There are no fire pits because again, most of them have been ruined. And the other places where they aren't actually any here in the center of this village. So they actually need to get them into the houses to warm them up. And we do see the Pioneers sort of slightly warming them by a fireplace. Penal squad goes down to the flamethrower. Snipers on the retreat. Russians don't have a lot of problems. Although we do see a assault gun coming out there. And we see a light tank coming out for Romeo. The T-70 light tank. And we are seeing a large, considerably, in fact, vast infantry force being prepared right there by Romeo with a Maxim to support it. And the German front line. Oh, 3 fuel caches. I think that's an awful much. And now we're seeing Opel Blitzers. So clearly some sort of heavy armor movement is being expected, but at the same time, oh, good MGs for the Grenadiers, good, but still I would like to see some more infantry for the Germans. They are considerably short on it. And that, again, is something you always have to be careful about. You need infantry. And this scout car needs to be careful. There's going to be an assault gun flanking up. If the scout car can flank it, of course it will win. If the assault gun in their hand can get off a good shot, then the scout car is going to go down. And there we go. Scout car not being paid attention to, already all close to half health. And there you go, at the same time T-70 spotting out the scout flamethrower half track. The 8 drivers injured, it's all by stun. And there we go, Flammwagen down. Romeo's infantry though needs to get over to some fires. They're slightly dying. Panzer here going off. damaging the T-70 light tank. Julet's making a slow but sure return. It's time to have a look at Julet, in fact, who's gone for the guards rifle. 2 snipers, guards infantry on the way. 1 penal squad left. Die Strafniki or Strafbat. Troops who could only redeem themselves either by getting wounded or getting killed or somehow surviving the 3 months, which they rarely did. It could be a lot of things. Usually troops who in some way had failed. Grenadiers flanking about, though, might get that coming in his squad. Oh, and we're seeing a field gun up for Romeo as well. Nasty, nasty. That Grenadiers quickly retreating again. The lack of infantry to hold up the front, of course, the lack of an anti-tank gun not helping either. Plus, of course, the fact he spent just 600 manpower on fuel caches. Again, don't build that stuff too quickly. I mean, it's basically the same rules in Company Who's Won. Don't build observation posts too much too quickly. You can end up sapping yourself of some manpower. And I know some people like to say, but fuel is important, Dane. Yes, but if you don't have manpower, you can't use that fuel for shit. So remember, manpower is the most important. Fuel is also nice, but again, if you don't have manpower, fuel is useless. Flammarken here in trouble, getting attacked by the assault gun. Snipers going down. Burning by the righteous fires of the fatherland. That's an awful lot of screaming. That's a bit disconcerting. Well, there we go. The Flammarken goes out of control, crashes into the fire pit. On fire. Panzer Grenadiers with a Panzer strike getting stopped by the Strafbatmanned MG with the SVT-40s, which actually makes it quite a nasty position. There we go, rifle grenades going in. Armored car doing what it can at the same time. Push going in there. Panzerkampfwagen 4 moving in. Panzer Grenadiers, Pioneers, MG-42, T-70 tank likely to go down. Field gun, half track moving in from Romeo. He could upgrade that with the AA mount. You could see a bit of artillery going in here from the assault gun. That might be nice. We're also seeing dart infantry from Julet. Have them been equipped with light machine guns? Yes, indeed. We do see that this scout car is actually in a bit of trouble. Panzer Grenadiers advancing. Panzer 4 though needs to be careful. There we go, field gun firing away with the 76mm gun. Doing quite a bit of damage to the Panzer 4, really down to less than half health. Some machine guns up, so Romeo's gone for the exact same doctrine. Not a huge fan of both players going for the same commander, but I suppose that is their choice. Conscripts here overmanning the Pioneers. The Pioneers need to get out of there. Come on, Shadowwada, protect your infantry. Unit preservation. And a mortar half-track, so Shadowwada is actually going for the Festung support doctrine. The commander. Machine gun upgrade for the Panzer 4. Getting out of there though. Field artillery or field gun blasting away.
Guard squad ready. Yes, comrade.
Slow advance going in there from Julet, not rushing in too far. MG-42 with the scout car holding up the advance. And in fact,
Have a use for this scum.
I think that territory is just barely connected.
The territory is in our hands.
Impressive.
Flamethrower squad ready. Fresh units on the field.
Troops need reinforcement. And then going in after the Panzer 4, again, very little support, although we do see some fresh Pioneers to replace the ones lost. I can't imagine Shadowwada's Pioneers are feeling very confident. But there we go, mortar half-track blasting away. Doing a nice bit of damage right there.
Blizzard conditions are imminent.
Killing communists without regard.
They've opened up on us!
Nice hit right there. Infantry is rushing ahead, but this is not looking good for the Panzer 4. He could try and get down the smoke barrage from the mortar, but no. No, he's going to be using a Stuka strike to call in the smoke to actually cover up his Panzer 4, ensuring the field gun can't fire on it, allowing the infantry to relieve it. But at the same time, the Grenadier squad took some heavy losses to the half-track. Bun grenade going in against the field gun, not quite doing it though. Machine gun, Panzer Grenadiers firing away. Grenadiers need to retreat. Troops are trying to move in to get close enough to the Panzer 4 to spot it, but the field gun gets cleared out, allowing the Panzer 4 to advance. Pioneers moving up to support as well. Swift German advance, strafing run going in from Wanderer. My God, that was a bit of a turnaround. 8 kills on the half-track, 9 on the Panzer 4. Actually pulling back, interestingly enough. At the same time, we are seeing Wanderer continuing his advance up west here against Julet. Time for a good Romeo. Guards infantry doing what they can, but not quite successfully enough. The assault gun going to go down. It looks like we're already seeing Wanderer's rush for heavy armor. A Panther out. Panzer 4 continues its fight. Mortar half-track the same. And there we go. The half-track is abandoned. Panzer 4 advances. 15 kills. Might soon reach veterans who won. Getting a bit hit by his own artillery though. Pioneers already the companies have been repairing, and we do see the Panzer 4 actually knocking out. That was a bit of a waste. They could have tried recruiting it. And there we go. We are seeing Romeo having taken an absolute brutal beating right here from this engagement going south on him. Absolutely devastating stuff. Looks like he's getting Guards infantry as well. So the Guards tank corps is definitely rolling in as much infantry as possible.
Their weapons and clothing belong to the state.
11th Panzer Division needs to regroup. Assault gun actually still there, although has seen better day considering the fact it's on fire. Not a lot of infantry though again still for the Germans. Would like to see some more infantry. Also would be nice to see that field gun recruit. And the MD-42 still up here, in fact, turning these Strafniki into corpses. Meanwhile, looks like some minor advances being made here to try and force the Germans out. The church having been filled from top to toe with communists. From top to bottom, whatever. Whatever. Advances also being made here. German infantry moves forward. I still would like to see more than just 2 or 3 squads at times. The MG-42 still here. A bit of a starting to become rather untenable position as more infantry is moving in. Looks like Romeo definitely wants to help there. Looks like a nope. That's just the same Panzer 4. More time for alternate repairs. Panzer 4 has been repaired. And there we go. Grenades going into the window, and there we go. The MG crew dies. A heroic death. German march continues. We have Flammagen blasting away, burning the communists, taking heavy damage from the anti-tank rifles. MG getting smoked out, and there we go. Su-85 tank destroyer rolling in. Panther and Pack doing what they can against the communist scourge. The right hand side falling to the Germans. We are seeing Romeo putting in everything to support Juliet, now sending in his T-34s as well. Panther supported by Panzer Grenadiers advancing, Grenadiers in the way, but they are a bit exposed, taking some nasty damage from the Guards infantry with their own light machine guns. Panzer first against the T-34, T-34 rolling out, Su-85 continuing to blast away. Field gun also providing a bit of light support, could try and fire away an artillery barrage right here against all the infantry, and yeah, there we go. T-34 stunned. Field gun doing heavy damage to the fascist infantry, and the Grenadier squad goes down, courtesy of the T-34. Second Panzer 4 being sent in to support Shadowwada's forces. Looks like he could try and make a coordinated flanking assault on the Russians. Right about here would be excellent. Pushing in right there could do a lot of damage to the 4th Guards Tank Corps. I set up here. There you go. Large infantry force.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
While smaller parts being detached to clear up the area around here, giving the Germans map control. Things seem to quiet down a bit as the Germans are getting ready for another assault. Time to look at Shadowwada again, who's actually got relief infantry. That is an ability. He's only got 2 infantry squads. He definitely needs more. Bloody hell, more. Not less. But I mean, he should probably try and consider using relief infantry, basically, you know, mitigate the losses, giving him more Truppen to sort of buff up his overall numbers, allowing you to detach basically just a few to keep the flanks at least somewhat secure, which would force Romeo to actually detach a larger force to deal with the flanks. Something at least. Just use it, man. Get yourself some more infantry. And he's actually pulling back his panzers, not supporting his infantry. My god, that is definitely not right. Mortar half-tech, they're doing what they can, which is always something. Armored car here, veterans 2. Conscript sneaking in. Guards and machine gun holding up here. Conscripts, though, taking heavy damage from the Grenadiers and their MG, but they are taking heavy damage from the Guards' infantry nearby. Still, no real usage of the Panzers from Shadowwada. Los geht's. Bachsteiner Panzer. Und die Infanterie. At the same time, some pioneers getting pushed away here again. Nothing to really cover the right-hand side now. Panzer Force moving against the machine gun inside the little shed. Panther advancing, 2 Panthers out. Full steam from the Panzer Battalion. MD inside the building, taking heavy losses that will very likely die. In the name of Comrade Stalin, we're seeing the infantry actually being sent back right here, leaving the Panzers very much unsupported. But the MD is down. Shadowwada needs to keep things going. Schnell, schnell. And again, relief infantry. Very nice ability to ensure you can always have something to throw in after the first wave of the assault fails. And we are seeing heavy focus from the 2 Soviet players on Wanderer, and Shadowwada pulling away. He's not really focused. Though we could see a guard squad go down for Romeo. No, looks like they do make it. Panzer and such. No, they're actually retreating. That's not good. Panzer 4 moving in, flanking the H-85. Where's the second Panzer 4? There we go, there we go. Keep flanking the H-85. Keep flanking. Don't stop up. Don't stop up. And target down that T-34 first. There we go. One more hit and that will no longer be a threat. But at the same time he failed to maneuver the other Panzer 4, thus losing it to the H-85. And no, don't stop up. Oh dear, now we got buttoned up. Shadowwada having problems controlling his panzers, and again there's no infantry support, so he can't quickly, you know, clear up the flanks as well either. Really a considerable mistake detaching the infantry from his panzers. Really, absolutely, incredibly big mistake, allowing the Soviets to basically clear them out without much in terms of loss. Panthers being pushed back as well, because again the other players also lacking infantry. Again, there's no real support. The mortar half-track's nowhere to be seen either. I mean, really, Shadowwada absolutely fumbled this one. Now we're seeing absolutely excellent play right here going in from the 2 Russians, pushing ahead. German infantry taking heavy losses. The Panthers are simply getting pushed back with the sheer weight of fire being provided by the field guns, packs, and tank destroyers. Nasty stuff, nasty stuff. And for some reason, Shadowwada actually checked up when he's still using panzers. Yeah, that's just a waste of resources, man. But again, it might also be simply to be able to use that howitzer, because you do need Tech 4 for that one. Of course, also note all the fuel caches, of course, got wrecked. So again, that was basically just 600 manpower out the window. But there we go, another Panzer 4. Shadowwada pushing ahead with his infantry. Again, relief infantry. Relief infantry, mortar half-track in dire trouble. A lot of Shadowwada's troops are in dire straits. Getting bombarded. And right here, of course, he could actually at this stage already have gotten at least one Ostroven squad. So I really think, you know, that Shadowwada is missing out on some incredible opportunity to at least mitigate the losses and actually stay somewhat more combat effective than he actually is, despite his mistakes, which are considerably large. But another Pioneer squad.
Pioneers ready for
And at that stage, he might actually been able to get 2 Ostruben squads, but it's still at 2 6-man squads. We could have provided at least some sort of infantry support, some sort of numbers, or something to just pick up those weapons and keep it moving.
Pioneer squad.
But Shadowwada seems to either think nothing of it, or seems to be scared of the ability again. Just try and use it. It can actually benefit you. You might not give your Panzer grenadiers or grenadiers, but they're still useful. They are still useful. Trust me, particularly because active veterans are up pretty fast, which means they can actually all of a sudden become decent infantry if you know how to use them. Half-track advancing from Romeo. Time to have a look at the Wanderer, who's definitely got the more solid force. He's got more infantry, he's got more armor. He's basically got a lot more because, again, he's also able to keep it alive and support it properly, unlike Shadowwada, who also proceeds to actually wreck a field gun he could have used against the communists. Klutz.
Soldiers freezing.
Dummkopf.
Is that a reflection of your command capabilities?
Panzer is advancing, getting blasted right there. They do get off a few Panzer strikes on the tank destroyers, who are actually left unguarded by Julet. That's actually a bit of a mistake here, although there's a bit of assault artillery. Oh, assault gun nearby. Oh, fragmentation bombing run. MG setting up at the same time. This could prove to be absolutely devastating. And there we go. The pack actually gets wrecked. The machine gun crew is definitely not too happy either, although several of them seem to have survived in different states of having fragmentation shrapnel bits all over them. Panzer for advances, though needs to be careful. Foresight. Oh, this time it does actually provide support with it with infantry. Good. 3 tank destroyers up from Julet, though that actually proved very, and already there 1 volley, and that Panther's already down to half health. In particular, how the one of oh Christ, they could have knocked it out. And that was very tragic for Julet. They actually lost her veteranry 2 tank destroyer, but right there, Panther did actually get wrecked. Abandoned. Nasty stuff right there, nasty stuff. That is 1 Panther less. Armored car is actually still surviving. Things are getting a lot more messy right here on the right hand side, though. Shadowwada is definitely having a harder time controlling anything, and again, Ostruben would have helped with that. Also, we do see a light field howitzer has been summoned in to the field to provide some heavier artillery support against the Bolsheviks. And I do believe it's actually time for the mid-game analysis. The current situation, as the tactical map right here, of course, tells you, is that the Germans are not really holding a lot. They've been rather pushed back. They had a rather good sort of beginning, but then it rather fell apart, and it largely comes down to Shadowwada not right fully understanding. Again, I think Ostruben really would have helped, but also basically, you know, splitting up the infantry from the Panzers, sending in the Panzers in a situation that is rather dangerous, failing to utilize them properly, and of course losing them, thus leaving him with a lot less to actually handle anything with. Plus, of course, the fact he's only got 2 squads of infantry. Damn it, you don't do that. So already there, the Germans are rather running into some problem. Wanderer is definitely the one really currently holding it all together. Shadowwada needs to pick up his game, needs to get his act together, and needs to focus his forces. And again, try and use the relief infantry. Really, if you haven't tried it yet, try it. Russians, on the other hand, having had a slightly bad start, were able to actually take advantage of several things here by the mid-game. They're rather pushing on aggressively, using half-tanks, and Su-85s. Also note, they will not be getting anything heavier but Su-85s and T-34 76s, and they're actually knocking out Panthers, Panzer IVs and whatnot without suffering 2 huge casualties. So that is actually considerably well played by them. Some clever things going on here and there. But definitely a very aggressive play from the Soviets. They're not just sitting back, they're constantly harassing, constantly taking ground, constantly forcing the Germans to counterattack, forcing them, of course, to expend manpower on attacking without actually necessarily always getting ground. And that's actually really hurting Shadowwada, who's again lacking infantry, lacking power, lacking basically the ability to really push forwards. So that is actually working out quite nicely for Romeo. Less well for Shadowwada. And of course, this Su-85 really, wreaking havoc on the tank destroyers. So what the Germans need to do is, again, Shadowwada needs to focus, needs to push forwards, needs to use relief infantry, needs to get some more infantry, needs to get some tank destroyers up to support his panzers, fortify this area, consider laying down some mines, consider getting up some munitions caches, while Wanderer keeps pushing a bit more casually, and perhaps they should also just consider working together with Wanderer pushing forwards while Shadowwada pulls for another flanking assault, but this time actually supporting his panzers with the bleeding infantry. That might actually work considerably better for him, although he does now have the howitzers, so hopefully some good howitzer usage could help them in this fight a wee bit. But let us return to things. The German assault is rather stalling severely. And again, the sort of strategy that Shadowwada is employing again rather relies on the infantry working closely with the panzers, but that's not quite happening. He simply doesn't have enough infantry really to support it either. Whereas we do see that Wanderer's a bit better, but at the same time he's actually lacking the support weapons. He's not got mortars, artillery, anything. He's much more reliant on the Stukas providing the support he needs. But there we go, Panzer Grenadiers knock out the assault gun, denying Julet the vital bit of self-propelled artillery she actually had. Then we do see a tank shot being shoveled over from Romeo to help against the Panzer IV. Nicely done there. Grenadiers taking heavy loss. We could see the Grenadiers score, and it does link behind an MG for the Russians. This is absolutely going hellish for Shadowwada. Needs to get that Panzer IV out of there. Come on. Shadowwada, are you even paying attention? Your men are getting murdered, and you're doing nothing. Artillery flying in here. Ooh, heavy losses right there to the Guards infantry, just massacring several of them. But the Panzer IV is a loss. Not a total write-off as of yet, but still not good at all. Not good at all. And the Maxim is actually also a bit of ice getting wrecked right there. Nasty stuff right there. 8 kills on the Panzer IV. Stug needs to move up. Schnell mit die Sturmgeschütz. And of course the half-tank is destroying. Oh! Building collapses with the MG crew in it. And Ivan wishes he hadn't eaten so much. But nasty stuff there. Right flank's collapsed. Minor progress on the left flank though for Wanderer. Stuka doing what it can. Field gun being manned by some Grenadiers, providing some fire support. Strafniki trying to push forwards, but they are taking some nasty losses. And it's time to return once more to Julet. Very little for Julet as well. She suffered some considerable infantry losses as well. Down to an MG, a Guard squad, a Strafniki squad, and 2 HU-85s. Not looking too good either. Romeo needs to pull something over or push up the right flank much more severely, forcing Wanderer's right support there. Panzer IV has been recruited, but we do see the Stug moving in, but taking nasty damage, and they've got artillery support going in, knocking out the Panzer IV. 14 kills already on the howitzer. Half-tank taking heavy damage. Pioneers quick to repair. The Stug, Grenadiers and Panzer Grenadiers moving up. Fresh Grenadiers squad with an MG. This one has not been picked up. And more to half-tank providing support as well. Germans need to be careful not to get hit by their own artillery. HU-85 could very well go down very quickly as long as the infantry's pushed away. There's nothing to fight line fire for the Panther. So whatever. Romeo pulling back on the right flank, although we do see several T-34s ready to roll in and give Fritz a beating he probably won't soon forget. We're seeing an elephant tank destroyer being rolled in from Wanderer. Schwerer Panzerjäger Abteilung 635 providing its elephant tank destroyers. The Germans didn't really see the Jagdpanther until February 1945 on the Eastern Front. It was largely a West Front vehicle. And there we go, another H-85 goes down for Julet. Heavy losses, a lot of resources being floated. Several could be considered gets secured. Strafing rounds going in from both sides on the same area. Panzer is pushing forwards. It's carnage. MG secured by someone, though I'm not entirely sure who did it. Guards infantry. The Guards secured it. Eventually, the 2 Guard squad makes it away with the MG. Mortar incendiary rounds going off here. Half-tech pulling up, but the Guards infantry could burn up before that happens. And there we go. Marshili catches on fire. His nice big coat also turns out to be incredibly flammable. Stug providing fire support. Mortar half-tank doing so as well. The T-34s are still not moving. I wonder if Romeo has forgotten about it. Elephant tank destroyer rolling forwards. More armor is needed up here for Shadowwada. And again, relief infantry would really help them, I think. Finally, it looks like actually getting more than 2 infantry squads at any time. Guards infantry taking nasty losses. Grenadiers here, Mark 1 to consider pulling away. As Guards infantry moves up, Panzers move up instead. Making shorter work of the guards. And there we go, half tank is down. Guards infantry suffer heavy losses to the Sturmgewehr equipped Panzer Grenadiers. Partly because the guards infantry keeps moving out, so they can't use the machine guns. Grenade going over the Panzer Grenadiers, taking all of them almost down. Absolutely desperate fighting right here by the fuel point. And there we go, Romeo rushing in his armor, his infantry. And there's nothing to support the Stuka. The T-34s couldn't knock it out. Nicely done that Panther advancing here. MG Grenadiers out against the Maxim, who's in open. The Grenadiers are definitely winning this one. So Wanderer has been able to make a good solid push up the left flank. The tank destroyers yet to see anything, and again Julet has taken an absolute beating, but we are seeing a return with several Su-85 tank destroyers rolling in. And there we go, the T-34s coming in. The Stuka is simply getting outmaneuvered. The Stuka aren't doing enough. So there we go, nicely flanking and not even ramming it like some players just like to do mindlessly. And in fact, right there, outmaneuvering the Stuka. The Stuka simply cannot keep up anymore. That's going to be an easy target for the T-34s. Nicely done right there by Romeo. Less well done there by Shadowwada again. And there we go, Sturmgeschütz is kaput. Mortar half-tech kick to retreat, and again, once more, Shadowwada is combat ineffective against relief infantry. Might have helped some, and again, supporting the infantry better with armor would also work even better. We are seeing Wanderer here with a field gun ready to find anything trying to move across the ice, if he can spot it. Bit of artillery going in here. Pioneer squad's getting absolutely mauled by the 2 Soviet tanks. And there we go, Pioneer squad absolutely wrecked. Guards infantry might want to consider getting out of that building. And that Opel Blitz is in trouble. The Opel Blitz actually being only one of many trucks actually being employed by the Germans. And I do believe it's actually a later War 1 as the Germans actually tried to simplify the truck production. Problem was, in the early stage of the war, they were producing so many different trucks from so many different countries. It actually meant the logistics and maintenance of all these trucks was actually ridiculously impossible. And it actually caused them severe problems. T-30 is moving in and getting the mortar half-tank. Another severe loss to the 11th Panzer Division as the T-34s just caused heavy losses. Panzer strike on the Panzer Grenadiers quickly popping up though. Panzer Grenadiers no need to be careful. T-34 quickly squishes Heinz beneath the treads. Su-85's running into trouble. Elephant tank destroyer getting the driver, field gun turning about. And there we go, Su-85 goes down to the mighty Schwerer Panzerjäger. Panzers need to retreat, but they're running into a bit of problems. And there we go, looks like the squad could get wiped out. Panther though down to the Su-85 despite being blasted at by an Elephant tank destroyer. Again, Julet using the numbers provided by the Soviet army quite nicely. Now trying to escape less nicely. Panzer IV arrives. The Panzer Grenadiers look to have gone down right here, losing Panzer Grenadiers with Panzer X. Less good for Shadowwada, but then a lot of things are less good for Shadowwada. And we're trying to have a look at Romeo, who's not looking too good either. I mean, both sides have at this stage of the fight, and they're also incredibly close on victory point, but both sides have taken enormous casualties. They lost a lot of infantry, a lot of armor, and now Romeo is just getting ready to pour in another 3 T-34s. Romeo has clearly listened to the lessons of Comrade Stalin, and he knows how to employ the T-34 in numbers. Quite nicely there, Comrade Romeo. But a very badly held German front line at the moment as most pulls back. There's a field gun, there's an elephant, there's some pioneers. That's about it Wanderer can actually offer. And Shadowwada is even less well off since, well, he's got a little armor and he actually needs to attack. Again, relief infantry I think would have helped Shadowwada have something to push forward with and actually overwhelm Romeo with. But again, a lot of players don't quite seem to understand how relief infantry can actually work. And 40 34s, that's definitely going to be a nightmare for the Germans if that actually hits any place. Since they simply can't offer that much firepower to stop that many T-34s. They don't even have any packs, oh dear. Romeo's clearly had enough of this and is getting ready to roll in the Soviet war machine, the armored fist of Stalin.
Units awaiting orders.
Another Maxim rolling up, Guards infantry hiding by the bushes.
Falling into enemy hands. Desert imminent.
Half-track rolling up for Wanderer, might be there to reinforce his troops at the front. Julet sneaking in, some troops, another best. That one actually got destroyed. Out of control. Other two H-85s ready.
Losing supplies to the
And
enemy.
more T-34s just keep rolling out. The Soviet war machine cannot be stopped. Grenadiers advancing again on their own. Versus troops with... and now grenade goes off. Another Grenadier squad could go down. Come on, Shadowwada. What are you doing? You keep making on the same mistake right there. And loses another Grenadier squad. God in him, at this stage of the game, they need to be operating in larger squads, not just one-man teams. Well, singular teams. That's actually a grave mistake again committed. And another MD-42 handed over to the Russians. And there we go, the Panzer IV against an inch without support at all. And quickly getting overwhelmed by Romeo's T-34s again. Romeo just using the numbers. He is afforded quite excellently against the fascist tanks. And again, Shadowwada has absolutely learned nothing and immediately loses another tank. And we see a Tiger tank having rolled out now for Wanderer, but will it be enough? It looks like the Germans might want to consider just pulling back towards the left side, consider the right side lost to the Bolsheviks, and dig in and hope for the best. Because it seems rather clear that Shadowwada is rather ineffective to conduct fighting on his own. He just needs to pull in to secure Wanderer's flanks, I would say would be the best choice. At the same time, the scout car is actually still there, launching up the right flank, flame for a half-track. And there we go, in fact, Romeo quickly moving in with all of his tanks to hit Wanderer. Although Julet actually needs to move in her troops as well, otherwise the T-34s are going to get turned into combustibles. But there we go, he's actually waiting on the ice. They are getting ready for one hell of a strike against the fascists. And again, so little left for Shadowwada. A bit of infantry, a bit of armor. And again, the repetition of those same unfortunate mistakes. And there we go, the assault is commencing. T-34s rolling in, machine gun mounting up the front. Field gun going to get overwhelmed in seconds. There we go, the crew is dead. Panzer is moving in, Tiger pulling back to present the front there, going to one of the T-34s to knock it out. Although we do see the Panzer quickly knocking out Elephant, fanning away. Panzer gun is in the nearby houses to basically provide support and protection. T-34 largely knocked out. Yet Tiger's actually been immobilized. More T-34s moving in, just numbers, boys, numbers. And they just keep on moving. Oh dear, and actually ramming the Elephant. Oh no, now there's just two T-34s, but there's only a single squad of Panzer gunners, and they could easily be focused down by the T-34s. And there we go, the H-85s have moved up, and again there's no support from Shadowwada. Again, Shadowwada is simply too slow, having now also equipped all of his Panzer gunners with Panzerschrecks. Artillery going in support, but the Elephant's already down. There's only the Tiger left. There we go, T-34 abandoned. Both T-34s went down. If only Shadowwada had been quicker, but he wasn't. He was slow. Lacking the spirit of the Blitzkrieg. An absolute devastating fight right there for the Germans. And again, excellent use of the T-34s by Romeo. And then, of course, again, following up with H-85s. And basically, again, just showing what you can do with H-85s and T-34s against Tigers and Elephants and Stoops and Panzer IVs. A good Russian player clearly doesn't need any more than that. So, be aware, remember. And then we got another H-85 goes down, though. And scout car moves in, actually blasts away at the more exposed rear armor. Snipers arriving. Scout car might want to deal with that. Stu, oh, getting flanked by another T-34. Strafing run going in. Panzer is retreating. Oh, the carnage. Oh, the carnage. And no more Stuks either. Veterans free for the scout car, increasing its damage. But that is another Stuk lost. Germans are holding on to one victory point. They've got not much left, and the T-34, and there goes another Stuk. On its own, unsupported, the Stuk is not worth much, as amply demonstrated right here by Romeo and Shadowwada. An absolutely brutal slug out. More T-34s, more H-85s moving up.
You have a fire mission?
And the Germans seem to be relying more exclusively on heavy armor, which again rather means they're constantly at a disadvantage, in particular again because of Shadowwada's mistakes.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Here we go, another Panzer IV.
Panzer IV is ready for battle. Yes? Grenadiers.
Ooh, H-85 getting spotted right here by the veterans of the Panzer Grenadiers. Sector artillery going in to protect the far west victory point, except all the troops are moving away. That doesn't actually matter much. Shadowwada leaning its desperate assault towards the right hand side. Now the Romans pulled most of his forces towards the left. A bold move, and looks like, oh, lost an entire infantry squad. Could this be Shadowwada's redemption as he goes for that victory point over there? Or shall it be his folly? We'll of course have to see. H-85 went down. Panzer advanced to go get stopped by the MD-42, which by the way is veterancy free. And there we go, Panzer simply getting murdered by the T-34s. Again, infantry out in the open is much exposed to tanks. So again, really excellent use of the T-34s, really just punishing the Germans. And Wanderer, very short and everything, looks like he's going for another piece of heavy armor. Looks like the Germans were able to secure all 3 victory points, but for how long will that last? For how long? And now they're going in after all the different Opel Blitzes hidden all across the map. Despite all the resources, it did not actually win them the fight.
Enemy tank at our edge.
Another truck blasted up. Another Tiger on the way. There's still the howitzer though, which is getting close to veterancy 3.
We have a full complement. Blizzard conditions are imminent.
Point still very close. Could the Germans pull something together and win this? And a light machine gun there, which could be picked up by someone to increase their firepower. Just a suggestion. Looks like Shadowwada's going to leave and can leave the victory point. Ah.
Half track has arrived.
Shadowwada proceeds to repeat his earlier mistake, which could have, which rather irreversibly shifted the entire game in the favor of the Russians. Panzer Grenadiers running into a bit of trouble, and getting murdered. And there we go, going for their last victory point, which of course Shadowwada immediately abandoned. Of course now doubling back to protect. And of course sending in a Panzer IV and a single Panzer squad then to take on the larger Soviet force, leaving that much easier for the Soviets to deal with. There we go, anti-tank grenades, anti-tank rifles. We could very soon see some armor. Again, another rather poor move by Shadowwada committed. He could try and call in some smoke barrages to provide, of course, some light. No, can't because of Blizzard. So really bad move right there. Another Stug ready, but it likely won't get there quickly enough. And there we go, another Panzer force senselessly lost by Shadowwada. Heavy armoured losses for the 11th Panzer Division. Grenadiers getting murdered. T-34s continuing their reign of terror. Artillery flying in, knocking out the ice, causing huge jets of water to spout out. Right hand side is held by what Shadowwada has left. Stug being marshalled forwards. Tiger also moving forwards, and 30 killed, by the way, on the howitzer. So much ice broken. Need to be careful he doesn't sink his own Stug. That would be mildly depressing, to be honest. Tiger ist bereit.
New unit has arrived.
Russians are holding on barely. The Germans not looking too good either, but clearly Romeo having the larger force now, quickly filling it out with conscripts with submachine guns. Quickly and swiftly actually getting a reasonably heavy armoured force. Whereas the Germans are rather having a problem quickly filling out their ranks, and rather have neglected their own chance here, at least on Shadowwada's behalf, to actually get that. Battlefield littered with wrecks of tanks and some abandoned still. And clearly this set of villages has been absolutely devastated. Very quiet. The Germans are gathering all of their strength for one last assault. But will it be enough? Will it be enough? We're seeing more tank destroyers being rolled out. There we go. Infantry advancing. Looks like the time has come for the final assault to begin. And already, there we go, the Russians actually pushing ahead in front of them. And there we go, the Stug getting stopped. There's nothing to support it. Again, the Stug was left too far ahead without any support, expecting he would actually get up there in time, but instead Romeo pushed ahead, going to ram the Stug, taking no chances. Panzer doing what it can, but it's too late. Stug out of order. Pioneers quickly need to get to work on fixing it. T-34 advancing again after the Panzer Grenadiers. Bet's infantry following up. Half-track also ready to provide support. Tiger advancing. Need to quickly get in the face of the Su-85s and destroy them. It cannot wait. It can't wait. Strafing runs going in to support. Will the Germans be able to keep up the assault at the same time? Of course, Romeo pushing hard for the right-hand side. Of course, a single fragmented bombing run could absolutely be devastating, but it does seem like the Germans are aware. And a counter-strafing run going in from the Russians, shredding the Panzer Grenadiers. Tiger advances, Su-85 taking heavy damage. 48 points left. Desperation can be seen in the German players' actions. Sector artillery going in to protect the victory point. Will it be enough? Will it be enough? Or will the Russians brave the sector artillery, even as the men are getting shot to tiny bits? And there we go, the guard squad with MG-42s and other light machine guns firing away at the fascists, going for the centre victory point, getting murdered over here by another MG-42. Well placed there to stop any move towards that victory point. Stug advances, another Stug, and another Stug arriving. He's just all of a sudden getting a lot of Stugs, but it's too late. He should have had them earlier, alongside some infantry. And interesting enough, there's no attempt at really a bombing run going in from. No, it's still a strafing run. T-34 down. Troops are pinned down. Grenade going in, killing most of the Panzer Grenadiers. There we go, rendered neutral, but it is not enough. It is not enough. And that is pretty much GG. The 11th Panzer Division has failed. And there we go, game over. Rather tense fight, rather was close. But again, some rather considerable mistake, largely on the behalf of Shadowwada. Rather lost the game against Shadowwada, splitting up armor infantry. Rather, again, can't quite seem to decide what to do. Then splits up his forces, loses both largely. Also failed again, concerning he was festering support. He never really quite got the good of it. He initially actually used this, smoke bombing run, track to save his Panzer. That was actually quite good, but then it rather fell apart. There were several times where he could have done something more and didn't quite. And again, I really think with relief infantry, he could have actually presented himself with a perhaps not strong force, but still a large force to actually shield this area, at least support his advances, which in some senses might still have provided some sort of, momentum to the assault. But again, that never quite happened, which rather tragically opened up for the Russians to counterattack. And again, their replacements are cheaper. Conscripts are cheaper. T-34s are cheaper. H-85's not quite cheap, but still they do a lot of bloody damage for their price. And again, they knocked out Stug's Panzer IV, and again, excellent use of Romeo by the T-34s, constantly flanking him out, constantly using him 2s or 3s to just overwhelm the Stugs, Panzer IVs, Tigers, Elephants. Really lovely play right there. Wanderer clearly playing the best of the two players, but again, had Shadowwada played better, the Germans might actually have won. I also think there was a mistangent trap by the Germans also used other field guns picked up here and there. Also again, all those free fuel caches, I think that was a bit of a waste. Quite honestly. But there you go, exciting game, tense game. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed this last Communist 2 close beta cast. It's certainly been quite the pleasure casting them. Of course, I'm looking forward to cast the Communist 2 open beta, and of course I'll keep you informed. Otherwise, again, keep watching. I'll still be casting Communist 1 if that is what you like. If you don't, well, I'm sorry, not much else I can really do. So then you just have to wait until I begin casting Communist 2 again. But I hope you enjoyed this. I really hope you learned something from it. If you did, want to subscribe, tell your friends, share it. If you didn't, well, I can't say send in the replay if you don't, because I can't cast Communist 2 yet, but provide some comments and feedback. Otherwise, this is Imperial Dane saying cheers.